Welcome to 6 Minutes of History. Last week we learned about the rise and fall of Mahajanapadas. After flourishing on its own, these empires were overthrown by other kings. One of them was Chandragupta Maurya. He established India's largest and most powerful sovereign, the Mauryan Empire. Before we move ahead, be sure to subscribe to 6 Minutes of History and never miss a video. The Mauryan Empire was the first Indian empire to span across a large part of the Indian subcontinent. It gave the world the greatest kings of all times, Chandragupta and Ashoka. Their reigns were synonymous with harmony. Historians gathered the story of the Mauryan Empire from Chanakya's Arthashastra, Megasthenes' Indika and Ashoka's edicts. The Mauryan period can be viewed in three different sections, ruled by three different kings, Chandragupta, Bindusara and Ashoka. After overthrowing the Nanda dynasty, Chandragupta established the Mauryan Empire, India's first indigenous empire. Bindusara followed in his father's footsteps and continued to expand the empire. In 273 BC, Ashokavardhan, Bindusara's son, ascended the throne. But these kings decided to leave the royal lives behind for something greater. What it could be? Let's find out. Legend has it that Chandragupta was first noticed by a Brahmin scholar named Chanakya, also known as Kautilya. Chanakya taught Chandragupta about warfare and administration with the intention of enabling him to overthrow the Nanda dynasty, an enemy of Chanakya's. Chandragupta sought to defeat the Nanda dynasty by forming an alliance with Alexander the Great. He denied the alliance fearing Magadh's military power. Chandragupta seized Magadh with a few years of overthrowing Dhananda of the Nanda dynasty. He was aided by his prime minister, Chanakya, who also wrote Arthashastra, a work of philosophy and polity. Geographically, Chandragupta conquered a large chunk of land. In the northwest, he defeated Alexander the Great's appointed Greek governor Seleucus Nicator. He liberated parts of Afghanistan and the Trans-Indus region from Greek rule. In exchange for the occupied territories, Seleucus signed a peace treaty and got 500 war elephants. The Greek governor sent an account of Chandragupta's to the Greek historian Megasthenes. Later, he also had one of his daughters marry Chandragupta. After conquering Magadh, Chandragupta politically unified most of the Indian subcontinent, from the Himalayas in the north to Persia in the east and far south, leaving the tribal stretch near Kalinga. The kingdoms were unified under a strong centralized government with Patliputra as the capital of the empire. He built a well-organized administration with a proper bureaucracy set in place. Trade and agriculture flourished. The economy was strengthened by efficient tax collection and prosperous trade returns. After ruling for 24 years in 298 BC, Chandragupta abdicated the throne to pursue an ascetic life. He moved to the south, where he meditated in a cave and starved himself to death in a ritual called Salekhana. His son Bindusara succeeded him and ruled the empire for 26 years. He carried his father's conquest and expanded the kingdom into South India till Mysore. After Bindusara's death in 273 BC, many expected his son Susima to succeed to the throne. But Ashoka ascended the throne with the help of Bindusara's chief minister Radhagupta. He continued his grandfather's conquest by extending the Mauryan Empire to Kalinga, present-day Odisha. This gave them control over seaports, increased trade and a formidable military force. But little did he know that this would become a turning point in his life. The loss of lives and bloodshed caused during the attack on Kalinga disturbed Ashoka and made him remorseful. Eventually, he renounced physical subjugation and converted to Buddhism. He promoted Buddhism as a world religion and spread the religion to China, Japan, and the Far East. While he respected all religions, Ashoka emphasized the Buddhist philosophy of Dhamma, which means the route to truth. What made the Mauryan administration secular was the Dhamma principle, which accepts people from all walks of life. Ashoka was the first king to communicate directly with his subjects through inscriptions, which were royal orders. To create a just society, He inscribed Buddhist teachings on stones and pillars on the infamous Ashoka edicts, scattered across present-day Nepal, India, Pakistan and Afghanistan. The most renowned is the Ashoka pillar, a column built with 4 lion sculptures on its head. It is called the Lion Capital, and its graphic representation was adopted to be the national emblem of India. Another artistic achievement of the period was stupas, a dome-shaped monastery. The great stupa at Sanchi, where relics of Buddha and Buddhist monks are preserved, is the most notable. Click the thumbs up button if you want to visit the great stupa in Madhya Pradesh. Ashoka preached ahimsa or non-violence. He banned hunting, forced labor, and unnecessary animal slaughter. He built good roads and health facilities. He improved relations with Asia and Europe and sent his children Mahendra and Sanghamitra to propagate Buddhism to foreign lands. Art, agriculture, and economy flourished under his rule and the empire prospered. Ashoka continued to rule for 36 years and died in 232 BC in Patliputra. The Maurya Empire had reached its pinnacle under Ashoka's reign, but after his death, it began to decline. His successors were weak and could not control a vast empire. The Mauryan army general called Pushyamitra Shunga assassinated the last Mauryan ruler, Brihadrath, and started the Shunga dynasty. Eventually, the Mauryan Empire ended 50 years after Ashoka's death. Chandragupta's and Chanakya's well-administrated state to Ashoka's extended empire, Mauryan rule was marked by peace and stability. We can only hope to learn from such great rulers. Catch you in the next one.